Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to a review of fragments, run-ons, and comma splices. All right, let's take fragments first. Sometimes you'll receive a paper back from me, a draft of an essay, something you've written and turned in, perhaps a journal, and you'll see the comment frag in the margins. Frag is short for fragment, and it means you've written something and punctuated it as a sentence, but it's actually an incomplete statement. So look at what I've written here in blue. This is an example of a fragment. With courage and great determination. What is missing from this statement? Why is it not a complete thought? If you noted, it's missing both a subject, a doer, and a verb. You're right. It needs both of those things. So let's rewrite it. Okay, so here we have a rewrite. We have added a subject, the students, and we've added a verb, worked. Add that to our existing language, and we have a complete thought. Try one more yourselves. How about this one? Monica, Jake, and Anil, who are all friends. What do you think is missing from this statement? Although I've punctuated it as a sentence, I've got a period at the end. I don't have a proper sentence. What do you think is missing? I have a subject. It's a compound subject here. Monica, Jake, and Anil. Do I have a verb? Well, I do here. Are, form of the verb to be. But look at this comma here. It's introducing this phrase as a dependent clause. It means I don't have a complete thought. How would you rewrite this fragment? Adding in a complete thought. Here's a possible rewrite. I've kept my subject, Monica, Jake, and Anil. I've kept this verb in this dependent clause, but I've added more language so that I'll have a complete thought. This verb and object. So what did Monica, Jake, and Anil, who are all friends, do? Well, they came to my party. Now I have a complete thought. All right, let's take a look at run-ons and comma splices. You probably recall there are 3 ways to fix run-ons, comma splices. What are those 3 ways? Well, one, simply to add a period. What is another fix? Semicolon. And the third fix, what is it? Comma conjunction. But how do you know when to use which of these 3 fixes? Technically, you could use any one of the 3 to fix a run-on or comma splice. However, depending on what the sentence is trying to say, you might choose one over the other. So let's look at some examples. So take a look at this sentence. The problem becomes obvious rather quickly. I studied for an hour. Yesterday, I went to visit my aunt. So, did I study for an hour yesterday? Or did I visit my aunt yesterday? It's very unclear. Okay, so let's assume that it was today you studied for an hour and yesterday that you went to visit your aunt. If that's the case, let's think about which one of our 3 fixes would be best. We could do a comma conjunction fix. I studied for an hour, comma, but yesterday I went to visit my aunt. We could do that. We could do a semicolon. I studied for an hour, semicolon. Yesterday I went to visit my aunt. We could do the semicolon. However, the period might be the best fix here. Why do you think? Period. And then capitalize that Y, comma. I studied for an hour, period. Yesterday, I went to visit my aunt. The period is a great choice here because it connects two generally unrelated ideas. Okay, so here's another one. This time we're thinking about Rita and Melissa. Rita loves ice cream. Melissa prefers candy. We certainly could do a period. We certainly could do a semicolon. We certainly could do comma conjunction, which could be comma but, comma and, comma for, comma nor. There are many possibilities. Which fix do you think is best? We have two different individuals. However, they're being compared along similar lines in terms of something they both love. If you believe that the comma conjunction is a good fix, I would agree that's a good possibility. Same with the semicolon. If you believe the period is probably your least likely option, I agree with you as well. The two ideas are related, so we don't need a period to separate two concrete ideas. Perhaps we'll add comma, but, or a semicolon. I would agree. Either of those would be good fixes here. Okay, so here's our last example. We liked the movie. It is too long for a young child, though. This is a classic example of a comma splice. We've got the comma, but we are missing something. What are we missing? The conjunction. What conjunction would be appropriate here? We liked the movie. It is too long for a young child, though. So you're adding a condition onto who might go see this movie. So maybe something like comma, but, comma, yet. Those would both be good fixes. If we add comma, but, we already have the comma here, and we add the word but right here. We really don't need this word at the tail end. It's a little bit redundant. So we can rewrite our sentence. We like the movie, comma, but it is too long for a young child, period.